Well, this is a very violent affair. Characters meet gruesome ends in a variety of ways, and since there's not much of a story to glue everything together, the violence ends up being remembered the most. It takes a certain mindset to handle something this insane, and the producers understood that, even in anime, there are some boundaries existent, even if more blurred than in live action. Throughout, I kept asking myself, is this a good OVA or a bad OVA? Now, for those of you here for an explanation, with some spoilers, of this confusing as hell series, here goes. A psychic cyborg called Elaine escapes from her creator and combines with the conscience of her sister Diane, which gives her the ability to turn into a monster. Then the death of Elaine's friends are the catalyst for her destroying the Earth. There are three areas where this concept of a destructive god is explored: Hong Kong, an aircraft carrier, and an independent society. The main themes are religion and connection, but not necessarily violence. The style of Genocyber can be described as erratic yet consistent. Episode 1 shows off the most style, having as many events and characters included as possible, with a sprinkling of 3D imagery to add to the disturbing feel. It's difficult to tell what's happening amongst the gore, as things only make sense after they've happened. There are no intelligent arcs, but rather past occurrences that we think about, whilst more occurrences happen before us. So yeah, be prepared to keep up. Episodes 2 and onwards are clearer and more emotionally involving, but the chaos is maintained throughout. Genocyber is effective at being a nightmare, and the animalistic quality of Elaine gives her a surprisingly commanding presence, making her very capable of leading the large cast, whether she is present or not. What baffles me, however, is how such a complex approach can have so little story. We know it stars a powerful cyborg, but not much else. We are aware that she has an influence in 3 settings, but not much else. Events just happen without much context. Other than that, they just happen. Take the introduction to Elaine's best friend, for example. He is getting beaten up, but why? Later on, the bullies are killed by Elaine, but why? I get that it gives an excuse for the two to meet, but why did Elaine save the stranger? And that's the problem with Genocyber. Too much randomness happens to the point where nothing really happens, as I end up not remembering many specifics, or in this case, excuses. That seems a shame, considering a lot of work was put into the style as I mentioned before. While Genocyber isn't forgettable as a concept, it's forgettable as a plot. It's easy to hate an anime that shows adults and children getting torn to pieces, but I feel like it could have been a groundbreaking 2.5 hours of innovative style instead of an epic killing spree. I'm being generous with the 3 stars out of 5 rating, as even though it's overwhelmingly violent and complicated, I appreciate how the over-the-top scale is controlled consistently. 3 stars out of 5.